Women and gentlemen, greetings. I'm Peter Knox, this is Gordon McIntyre off of the Ballboy.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing alright, thank you.
Good, glad to hear that. For anyone that doesn't know Ballboy, would you care to explain a little bit about who Ballboy, the band, are?
We are an Edinburgh band. Not necessarily from Edinburgh, I'm from Edinburgh, but all the band members are, but we consider ourselves an Edinburgh band. That's where we formed, that's where we came together, and have now been making or putting out music since 1999, I think was our...
You're no spring chicken.
The Height Scotland EP was 1999, I think. So yeah, it's been a while.
I think you're kind of like post-pop, and that you've kind of got a bit of everything. Like there's like a load of folky stuff and poppy stuff, but then there's like Jesus and Mary Chain bits and like quite rocky.
There's different things and different albums, and it really depends. What the mood takes us, but what we think fits the song. Mm-hmm. You know, there are some songs that for quite a long while you kick them about in terms of how you're going to present them. Is it going to be full on? You know, in fact, actually, when we practice last night. We have a practice in the course of a song. What we'll often do is like, you know, step on all the pedals, get all the and then take all the pedals off one by one, and then put them back on. Just so you're playing as you go, and just play the song over and over and over to get a sense of, hi, what's this? You know, how's this going to be for people when they listen? Mm-hmm. You know, there's a bit of it. You can have a lot of fun with pedals in a practice room, but really, what you want to do is when you present it, play it to people. Are they going to enjoy it as well? You have to consider that. I think you have to consider that. Not everyone thinks that, but I think that.
So I asked you to introduce the band, but anyone that listened to John Peel in the last few years of his show will know who Ballboy are.
Yeah, we did a number of Peel. I think we did 5 Peel sessions. Had a number of songs in the Festive 50, and had the great pleasure and privilege of meeting him a couple of times. We got invited down to play at his Christmas show at his house with Lana Cantrell, which was just, you know, one of the nicest experiences you could have. And he was just a fabulous guy. He was.
If anyone doesn't know Lana Cantrell, she's a country singer from New York, isn't that right? Anyway, she's American certainly, and she's beautiful voice, beautiful songs. And you did a version of one of your songs with her.
Yes.
I lost you, but I found country music.
Yeah.
And I had that on a tape in the car. That. Not just that, the show, that Festive Day or whatever it was, and it's just beautiful. It's a wonderful thing. You must be really happy about that.
I was really. It wasn't planned. We just turned up on the day and decided to do it. And I think she's. Well, I don't know if she's from Nashville, but she certainly lives in Nashville now. And I had an email from her recently. Actually, she's got a wee girl who's 7, 9. But it was lovely to hear from her again after all that time. So yeah, we were just. They had an idea that we would we sing a Johnny Cash song, which was I Still Miss Someone, I think. It's quite interesting because I consider myself a kind of singer-songwriter, but I wouldn't necessarily be the guy that would be on the X Factor singing with a voice, whereas Lana Cantrell is just a beautiful singer as well as a great songwriter. And when we did the Johnny Cash song, we did a kind of verse about. Then when he mixed it, you listen back to it, it's like they totally just turned my voice down in the mix. And it's like, you haven't done that too though, so I couldn't be too offended. So it was like, yeah, I'm thinking, I'm in this, right? They're like, yeah, you're there, fine, it's fine. Okay.
It's not just that she's that powerful.
It's not, it wasn't that at all. I think the guy just thought, yeah, I'm just going to have more of her and less of that Scottish guy. So that's how it went.
I think that Ballboy have been quite influential on Scottish bands. Has that thought ever? Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever felt that?
I don't know about specifically with other bands, but I mean, we've certainly been involved for a long time. But when I say, I don't just mean there for a long time. You know, we've played with lots of bands. We've had lots of different opportunities to work with different people. So I think, I don't know about in terms of music, but I just think there was something about us getting together, making the music. It was on the radio, other people going, well, you know, I can do that.
Yeah.
You know, and I actually think this was pre the days where you can actually do it and collaborate with people all over the world. But there was that sense, you know what, you can get together and you can do it. and things can happen, you know, and it's that kind of thing that sustained us all the time. That, you know, whether it's you've made a song, you know, I always used to, when I started off, I considered it like some kind of pyramid. You know, if you are in a band, if you decide you're in a band, even if you're saying the words out loud, we're in a band, you've already taken a step further than some people ever get. If your band has found a drummer, well then you're another step on. You know, if you're a band that's made a record and put out, you're another step on. If your band has made an album, a tour, a John Peel session, it's all those. Every time you do something like that, then you think, you know, that's it. And it just kind of helps set those little targets where you think you want to be in a band for a reason, and that can be as simple as, you know, when you write your first song, or you write a song that you actually consider worthy of playing to people. That's another wee notch on that kind of pyramid. So I think that attitude, maybe hopefully I see it in other bands as well, where it's not necessarily about we're going to start here and we're going to get to there. It's about we're going to start here and do interesting things and see where that takes us.
The influence I hear is people, you know, using their own accents more, and humour, and maybe singing about things that are a wee bit more less traditional. That's sort of somewhere that I see it. But who knows what would have happened otherwise. But I hear bands like, oh yeah, that's maybe Ballboy.
Maybe, and I think, I mean, that thing of starting out with very little, and you know, for us it's a way you want people to come to your shows, you want people to listen. So, as I said, you know, it's not downplaying my own singing to say it's not as good as Lana Cantrell's. However, there's other things that you try and hook people in with the writing, you try and hook them in with the, you know, I used to hate going to see bands that wouldn't talk to you between the songs. I always liked when you went, there was a bit of something.
Yeah.
I think you can go too far with that, I think sometimes I go too far with that, but I think there is that thing of when you're on a stage, rather than just we're here, we're playing and we're off, very few bands can get away with that. You know, I think the audience there is quite interesting. I love it when you have that bit of back and forth with the audience, and it makes every gig different.
Yeah.
And when we go on tour, like some bands go on tour with a set, and they play the set every night.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever played the same set twice. Every night, every time we go on a tour, no matter how long or short, we sit down about half an hour before the show, and we work out what we're going to play and what order it's going to go in, because it means for us it's a bit different. For the audience it's a bit different. Sometimes something kicks off, you get a wee bit different energy in there. So yeah, that's the theory.
Do you think that audiences pay a bit more attention if you talk to them? Because I've noticed audiences are very chatty these days.
Yeah.
It's a big problem. If you talk during gigs, don't, please. But maybe if you have a dialogue between the band and the audience, that's less likely to happen.
I think it is. I think there's there's a bit of me. Yeah, people do talk at gigs, but I think I always kind of consider it my responsibility to make them not talk. You know, and that's usually by. I mean, you've got all the advantages. I've got a microphone. They don't. We've got the ability to make really loud noises with guitars, etc. But I remember I played a gig. It was an acoustic show, and it was in Sweden, and two girls, as I was saying, just sat came and sat on the stage and started having a conversation. and I've never had that before. That was really unusual. But again, it was that thing of they didn't do it to offend me. They just obviously so I just sang quiet and moved away from the mic, and of course everybody else could see what was happening. They couldn't see because they were facing the other way because they were sitting on the stage. And eventually they kind of realised, and they were like, and they both just turned around and went, sorry, and went and stood back in the crowd. And after that, you've not, had an argument. If you're standing on a stage telling people that they must listen to you, you've kind of already lost the argument. I think it's alright for people in the audience to say, shut up, I want to listen. I think that's perfectly valid. But I think if you're on stage, you have to kind of bring them to you rather than go head to head. That's you're not going to win that. So.
It's also, to a lesser extent, when a band asks the audience to dance, there's a kind of
yeah.
The
other thing we do is we call it the semicircle of doubt. And then when you come onto the stage, you get that that everybody's just shuffled back. So we invite people into the semicircle of doubt. But
that really works. We don't have just tell them what to do.
Yeah, come forward. Because it is that thing of people are not sure. Do I want to be? It's like come, be fine. We won't hurt you. So yeah.
Any band with that circle of doubt should do that, because it generally works.
Yes, come in, and it makes a difference. So
yeah. It does. Do you like charity shops?
I do. I certainly did as a student, etc. I did the whole dressing from charity shops, but I still like pottering around them. I spend a lot of time now. I live near Portobello with a lot of good charity shops in Portobello, so looking at. I quite like the books that you get in charity shops because, generally speaking, and they're getting a bit swisher now, charity shops, but generally they're just uncurated. It's just a bunch of books on the shelf. They might be roughly in a category or an order, but I was in the charity shop in Portobello recently, and I opened up a book, and a ticket, someone's flight ticket to Hong Kong fell out, and it was like there was just something about it. And I didn't buy the book, but I kept the ticket.
Ticket from the past or the future?
Well, it was from the past. But I kept the ticket, put a donation in the box because I found the ticket. It was like quite a nice little random experience that you don't tend to get in a normal bookshop or whatever.
Got a wee token from someone's life.
Yeah, and it was just really interesting. And then you start thinking about what that might be. So it's where, a lot of the songs we write, people think that. A lot of the songs we write, people think are directly about my own life, and they're not. Some aren't, some are bits and pieces, but a lot of them are a character or two characters in a story to try and tell another story. And when you get something like that, you think maybe that'll spark off a story in the future. We'll see. So,
I wouldn't like to say that any particular charity shops are better than others, but for me, it seems to be that the ones that suit my tastes the best are the shelter shops.
Yeah.
Specifically the ones Morningside and Tollcross. Tollcross, especially for CDs, and the Upper Morningside one for clothes, fabulous. And the great thing about Shelter is they do a lot of good work for helping homeless people, as you know, and people in secure accommodation. They raise money through the shops, but they also are raising money through a book.
Yes.
At the moment, a music book that you might know a bit more about than me.
Yeah, it's the Christmas songbook that are put together for their show. So. Bart, who works with Shelter and also is one of the head honchos of Eagle Owl, who are just an amazing band. So I've done a few shows for Shelter over the past 5 years, maybe 6 years. I can't remember when I did the first one. So this year he asked if we would come and play, but also if I'd put together a Christmas song. Not just me. I think there's about 12 to 15 folk all putting in a song for that, and they're going to release the lyrics and the chords as a book as well.
So it's a songbook with songs written down with music and lyrics.
It's got the lyrics and the chords, no notation,
right.
Which is fine because I don't know how to write notation, so that would have been a struggle. And then a CD or online. I'm not quite sure how I think it's going to be a physical CD. It's going to come along with it as well. Right. So they got in touch, and then I had a Christmas song, but I wanted to do a new Christmas song for it, and so it was a wee bit. And then I checked my email. When's the deadline? Turned out it was the day before. I checked my email. I'm like, right, I should crack on. So I wrote them very kindly, said, look, can I have until the following weekend to get this song finished and recorded? And they were like, yeah, that's fine. Just send over, the words and the chords in the meantime. Right. Need a bit of time to finish the words and the chords, but as soon as I've got them, you'll have them. So it was, but it was really good because it's that focus of having to do something by it. And I knew it'd be fine because I knew what the song would be. It wasn't like I was, scratching around. I pretty much knew, but I just had to let that process work through. So as soon as I had it, so even now, I think the final recording's got maybe just a couple of extra bits in it that are not quite in the songbook, but I think it'll be easy for anybody who can play guitar to work out. So.
Do you find writing songs difficult?
Not usually. I go through phases. You go through phases where it's really easy. You go through phases where you would just, for all the money in the world, I could write a song, but it would feel like it kind of have no life to it. Yeah, I could do that as an exercise, and actually sometimes it's not a bad thing to do as an exercise because it gets you then thinking about other things.
99 perspiration.
I mean, it is that, and it's the persistence as well. You have an idea for a song, you still have to realise that. You have 4/5 of a song, and you've just got one shitty verse that you're thinking. this is rubbish. It's a verse, but it's rubbish, you know, or the chorus. So, and sometimes, I mean, I've had songs that 2 years later fall into place. That last tiny wee bit of the jigsaw falls into place. Or I've had songs that I've finished and not really liked and put away, and then when I come back to them, there's just something about a different rhythm you play or a different way you sing it that suddenly makes, you know, you're actually. I always think with a song, you know what you're trying to say when you start it, you just don't know how to do it. And you do there's a bit of trial and error, and there's a bit of just sensing your way, and you only really know it when you've got it, and you think, yeah. And once you've got that, that's a great feeling, because you know what, if I put that out to people and they hate it, that's okay, because I'm happy with it. It's in the form I want it to be. If you put it out and you're not really that confident in it, and then people hate it, you just think, yeah, they're right. I should never have done that. I should have waited or binned it, or one of the two, you know, those kind of things. So,
as well as the songbook, I got distracted there. There's a launch party for it, which is in the form of a 2-day concert extravaganza here in Summer Hall. Big up to Summer Hall for letting us do this here in the boardroom.
Yeah, this is not our living room.
We're the chairman of the board. Thanks to Sarah and the woman at the desk, and whose name I don't know, and Rebecca. But yeah,
she's very conscientious. The woman at the desk wouldn't leave the desk to come in here. She said, I can't leave the desk. You have to go. So I don't know what her name is, but she was very. If her boss is watching, very conscientious about not leaving her post. Yeah,
she's great. So the show is a Friday night and a Saturday all day.
Yep.
You're playing on the Saturday.
That's right.
It's there's a ticket. Saturday, 17th of December, 2016. Starts at 1 o'clock. It says latecomers will not be admitted, but I don't believe that. I think that's just standard ticket contract. You could probably turn up at any time.
I think you'd be able to turn up and come in, because that would be pretty strict.
And it's £15, which is great value. You're getting lots of brilliant bands, including on that day Ballboy. And the proceeds go to a great cause, Shelter.
Yeah, I think it's one of my favourite charities, and I think it comes down to a very basic thing that people should have shelter. You know, we can afford it as a nation. We should have it, and I don't think it seems, you know, the least controversial thing that you could say, and yet it seems to be difficult to make it happen. So
we're indoors in a centrally heated. It's a pretty warm building, but you're wearing a scarf.
Yeah.
Because it's the end of November and we're in Scotland, and it's really, really cold.
Yeah, it's like minus something out there. Yeah. Definitely.
I had to wait 45 minutes for a train the other day, and you know, I couldn't feel my extremities by the end of it. Imagine having to live like that.
Yeah, I think it's and I think it's solvable, and that's what I think. You know, you look at some problems in the world and you think they're complex, they're nuanced. This is just money going into the right place. I think I'm not the expert. Of people at Shelter might say it is more than, but it is. It's money going in the right places, and I just think, you know, we keep talking about times of austerity. Well, that kind of went out the window with the budget yesterday. It's like, well, now we're not going to balance the deficit. Now we're going to do that. It just changes. It's just politics.
A lot of people don't want to give money to homeless people on the street in case they spend it on drugs, or it's going to a gang from Eastern Europe or something like that. But if you give money to Shelter, then that's a great way of you know, helping out. Yeah, no excuse. No excuse at all. And it's Christmas and all that. It's a nice. It should be a nice time of year, but if you're homeless, it's going to be mega rubbish. Do you think that the eating of swans should be legalised?
The eating of swans?
Yeah.
Black ones or white ones?
Just the white ones.
Right.
Or farmed ones, whatever.
Because my wife's Australian, so she's bemused and freaked out by white swans. I'm bemused and freaked out by black swans. Because they have a lot of black swans.
Black swans are an extreme rare thing, isn't it?
No, not in Perth. Not where she's from. White swans are so.
And do they eat them in Perth or not?
Because it's
in the Commonwealth.
That's a very good question. Do they eat them in Perth?
I think if you're getting married to
an Australian,
that'd be one of the first things you'd ask.
We didn't have them at our wedding, I can tell you that.
You had other things on your mind.
Yeah, we didn't have them at the wedding, so I don't know. I'm neutral on the whole. When I say neutral, I don't know enough about it. So for all I know, they're rare and they're protected by something. And
but if they farmed them, they'd be less rare, wouldn't they?
Well, yes, but if they farmed human beings, it'd be less rare. That doesn't mean it's okay to eat them.
Yes, that's true. But the swan, the queen doesn't eat human beings. She eats swans.
I'm not convinced.
Well, why she always got
What's your
feathers round her mouth?
What,
when you
no,
see that around
there's the other
Christmas
thing. What's your evidence that she doesn't eat human beings?
Oh right, yeah, no, that's a good point.
She's like got flakes of skin around her mouth.
Yes,
Might be an age thing.
she does. Yeah, politics is complex, isn't it?
We clearly shouldn't go in it.
Having said that, have you ever applied to be in the question time audience?
No, because I don't want to be in the question time audience. I want to be on the panel.
Yeah, you should be on the panel.
I don't want to be in the audience. It's not enough.
You can't just work your way up, can you?
No,
that would scupper it.
It got. In fact, I once I worked with someone whose uncle, some close family connection, was the director of Scottish Question Time, or producer, or something to do with it, and they were like, yeah, I think I could get in the audience. I'm like, it's just that last word. It's that last word. And it's like, no, panel or nothing. But I don't know. It's all got a bit. 3 or 4 years ago, Question Time wasn't quite what it is now. Now it's just a bare pit of racist pricks trying to use other words for being racist. So, but
we can make the world a better place, and one of the ways to do that is to give money to shelter and to buy the Christmas Songbook album.
Very good value.
Come to Summer Hall, see the shows, get drunk if you want.
Get drunk. I mean, yes, absolutely.
For a good cause.
Come and get drunk for
you
a good
can
cause.
Make a
get
difference.
Me drunk.
Yeah.
You can do that.
We'll get drunk.
It'll be interesting.
Brilliant. Gordon, thanks very much.
Oh, thank you very much.
Really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Peace.